How and why did Baha'i Blog start?
Just like everyone else, I'm a person that uses the online space. Nowadays, 55% of people go online to find information. 55% of the world goes online to find out information when they're searching something. And so for me as a Baha'i, we started Baha'i Blog 8 years ago, but it was very obvious to me that there was a huge vacuum of Baha'i content online. And the content that did exist was often very basic or was just negative or incorrect information. And so really the aim was to try and create as much normal content about the Baha'i faith or related to the revelation of Baha'u'llah and the Baha'i faith, using Baha'i Blog as a vehicle to do that. The other thing was that there's so many cool initiatives happening everywhere. Like a lot of Baha'is and their friends are doing a lot of amazing things in the world, whether it's writing a book or holding a summer school or an event. There's a lot of awesome things happening and a lot of awesome people doing awesome things. And I felt like we didn't know about a lot of these things. And I really wanted to create a platform to let the Baha'is and their friends know about these wonderful initiatives happening. So for me, something like Baha'i Blog was filling basically an important space or vacuum that didn't exist online. And I wanted to really do that. And the whole tone that we take with Baha'i, but we're not trying to teach anyone the Baha'i faith. We're not trying to convince anyone. As Baha'is, we believe every individual has their own path to, find truth and their own reality. We don't proselytize. We're not allowed to proselytize, but we can teach the faith and we can share information. And the idea was to make sure that there is information out there for people to find if they want to, and also see what's happening on the ground at the grassroots in different parts of the world.
Can you tell us a little bit about the importance of the arts in the Baha'i faith and how it relates to Baha'i Blog?
I think like this concept of the arts, we really want to celebrate it. So on Baha'i Blog alone, we have these articles, there's writers, and that's an expression and an artistic expression. We celebrate people that are doing things that are artistic. So, you might see an album by somebody might have produced an album based on the Baha'i hidden words. We interview them. We just, we basically portray the album. We have a YouTube channel where we create videos, and we have a popular series called Baha'i Blog Studio Sessions, where we filmed over 200 songs based on the writings around the world in 38 different languages and something like 38 locations globally and 27 languages from across the globe. So, this is not like Baha'i musicians. This is just Baha'i musicians and just ordinary Baha'is that have been moved to, put the writings to music, and we get them into a studio and we film and record it live and we share that. That's been very popular. So there's we have a podcast with Rainn Wilson, where it's just Rainn Wilson is the host. He interviews different Baha'is and some of the friends of the faith about like what makes them tick, what their life is like, what they're up to. And that's a very authentic and real conversation. And there's also an art to that. You can find that there's a certain type of art to that, and that's been very popular. So there's a whole spectrum of things we do, and we're going to constantly push that, because I think even just showing that and letting people know about that is an encouragement to others as well. If you're an artist that has worked hard to put out an album, we don't believe in like writing reviews of albums, for example, or reviews of anything. We're just sharing basically people's what they've done. So, if you've written a book, like, why can't other people know about it? Let's let them know about it. And if it's something that they can use in their life to enhance their life or help them, great. That's something that should be used.
Tell us a little bit about how Ink of Light started and how you're involved.
Ink of Light was started by a Baha'i in Brisbane called Ian Hulmand. He was really curious about writing, and he wanted to find out if there are other writers, Baha'is out there that were writing books or enthusiastic about writing. And so he sent off literally a few emails to the community and some friends. And before you know it, he set up a one-day festival and 40 people turned up. We interviewed him on Baha'i Blog. And then me, June Perkins, and Ian Hulmand now are the team trying to get Ink of Light off the ground. So this is the second year it's running. And we hope that every year it gets stronger and stronger. But it's really a space just to celebrate the people out there that are doing things in the sphere of writing or the arts or creativity, and then also a way to encourage that type of thing. There's a lot of people at the Ink of Light Festival this year that are young, and junior youth age, that really want to be poets or writers. So we hope that this will inspire them and also share knowledge on how they can publish and what they can do.
How do the arts relate to the individual?
There's art in everything, basically. So no matter what you do, even if you're a doctor or a lawyer, there's an art to it as well. I think, though, it depends on what the individual who wants to express themselves wants to do. I encourage people to mine those gems that are within them, because I think they might find that there's actually something in there, and that might also enhance their family life, their career, other aspects of their life. We don't know the kind of potentialities of what artistic expression has and how it affects the human soul and others around you. And so it's kind of like you may have been watching black and white TV all your life, and suddenly as you start to express yourself artistically, it's almost like everything you're seeing is in color.
What are some of the things you've learned from creating Baha'i-inspired content and the Baha'i Blog experience?
Baha'i Blog has been running for 8 years, and we've learned lots of things. Everything we do at Baha'i Blog, I have to say, we take everything very seriously. We're not just shooting from the hip. We're constantly checking ourselves. The House of Justice has encouraged Baha'i communities to plan, act, and reflect. And so we take on that concept on everything we do on Baha'i Blog. So we have the podcast with Rain, we plan, we act, and we reflect. And we do that constantly on every episode or every few episodes, every project, whether it's studio sessions, the articles, the podcasts, other projects we do. We plan, we act, and reflect, and that goes on a cycle, constantly doing that. And I think that's very important, that we take what we do seriously, especially when it's something that you love very much, like the faith, the Baha'i faith, is something I love very much. You want the best, and you want to make sure that you present it in the best way. And so you have to experiment and try different things, but you also have to constantly be reflecting and asking the hard questions about, like, how is this going to affect others? And is this the wisest article to write about? Or could we write about something else? Using wisdom, for example, using words as mild as milk, as we're told in the Baha'i writings. These things are very important. There has to be coherence in everything we do as Baha'is. And often people can be a lot braver online. They wouldn't speak to you in a certain way if they were with you face to face, but online, for some reason, people feel they could speak in ways that might be offensive. Obviously, on things like Baha'i Blog, or any of us as Baha'is need to be aligning ourselves as best we can with the teachings of Baha'u'llah, and that permeates into everything we do. So whether you're working in the online space or as a medical doctor or whatever, we have to be basically, channeling the revelation of Baha'u'llah and the teachings into our life. So 8 years has been a long time, but it's been an amazing journey. One of the Baha'i Blog team members, Sonjel Vreeland, was saying, it's funny, it's not actually what people see on the blog, whether it's the articles or the videos, that often counts. It's what happens behind the scenes. And so much of what we're trying to do at Baha'i Blog is not only to provide and create Baha'i content, but it's also, or Baha'i-inspired content, but it's also to accompany individuals. Somebody might want to write an article, have thought about writing an article, but didn't know if they should or where to start. We've spent years on some articles that, our articles are only around 1,000 words, but we may spend 6 months, a year sometimes, on an article, working with the writers, honing their skills. It's a good way for people to figure out, like, how can you express this idea or concept in a very articulate way. So there's a lot that goes on behind the scenes that is actually sometimes more important. We're very careful not to fall into traps often of what, the world might see as trends or the way to do certain things. Like, often now people are like, no, videos have to be only 2 minutes. Nobody has an attention span. Well, we're like, well, maybe, but maybe not. Like, there might be time that we have to do a 2-minute video, but there might be videos that we need to make 18 minutes. And if that's how the story needs to be told and the information needs to be given, then it's going to be 18 minutes. We're careful not to sensationalize certain things as well unnecessarily. We're not trying to get people to click on the articles. We want people, there has to be an authenticity and coherence in how we present the Baha'i faith.